Welcome to the program demonstration for getajob.com. So before we begin, I hope that you have set up the entire environment after going through the readme file. So once the environment is all good to go, then we're going to run the main Python file here. So let me begin. So once you start the program, you'd be seeing this beautiful CLI-based interface. So we have used Figlet to play around with some fancy stuff here. And the first input that is required from the user end is to enter the job title that you want to search for. So let's say I just want to search for an engineer role based out of in this case, the location would be, let's say, Boston. So I'm going to enter these two values, and you're created with this progress bar that sort of gives you an idea about the progress of all the process that's happening behind it. When I say the process, it is just like scraping the data from, let's say, LinkedIn, and getting the relevant company-related information from another portal, which is Career Bliss, and simultaneously, it is getting a lot of location-based stats from Zillow and some CSV files which have crime-related stats for location and all. And I'll come to the point, why do we need that information and all? And it's also calling certain US Census APIs to extract census-related information as well. All these different parameters combined with the job, job details, we try to come up with something called as livability score. That also helps you get a sense of a particular location where you're hunting a job. Maybe what's the crime rate there? What's the average median income in that location? Would it be too expensive for you to live into that city? And when you come across scenarios where you might have, let's say, two different jobs, which might be paying you more or less the same, but then there are some additional parameters that you want to take a look into, and that might help you decide which one is a better option for you, right? So that's where these different factor comes into play and help you find your dream job. So this progress bar is definitely it definitely gives you a sense like how far we have progressed in terms of all the background processing, and how much time do we need to still devote and wait while the process is running. So let's wait for the scraping and processing to finish. So the scraping and processing is done, and once it is finished, you're created with this beautiful list of jobs that have been retrieved for you based on your search parameters. So you could see a lot of jobs in the Boston area, the location where you search for. And this initial table gives you at least some insight about the job, the company, and the location. But definitely you might want to explore more about the particular job posting. So with this table, you're also greeted with a little menu where you could play around with like different options, like you can enter a job ID, which is right here, to get more information about a particular job. Moreover, you can just like enter M to go back to the main menu and search for another title or maybe a different location. There's an option to calculate the livability score, which I just spoke about, and we're gonna do that thing as well. We'll demonstrate that part as well, and then you can go to the search results back, and you can enter Q to just quit the program. So let's just start with any of these jobs, right? So let's say I'm curious about the software engineer role in Nextroid. Kind of aligns with what I'm looking for. So I just enter the job ID and get the more information here. So in the job details, you see, all this sort of information with the location, if salary is, available for this particular job on the portal. In this case, it is not. When was it last, when was this job posted? It was a month ago, the company ratings and stuff like, what's the average salary at this company? And then these are some like, interesting parameters here. You might see what is the crime rate at the particular location? What is the average home value? What is the median income in that particular location? And then we try to draw a comparison with like US average and US median, right? So you would see like, okay, on an average, there is a little more crime in the Boston region if you compare it with the US average. Also, the median house or home value here is on the pricier end, which might be a factor when you decide to move in there. The houses tend to be costly in this location. And then you would see that in the job location, the median income tends to be higher than the US median. And the last plot here, it shows you that some interesting stuff around, like, when you ended up searching for, those particular jobs in this location, right? You are given with all these options. So it gives you an idea, like all those job postings that you just saw, right? So how old those postings were, right? So you would see like, there were some job postings which were less than 10 days ago. Then there were some like, posted almost a month ago or something like that, right? So that gives you a little bit of idea, right? So about the freshness or the stillness of the job listings that you just got. And another interesting thing to note here is that, if we do have information with respect to the reviews for this particular company, we're going to display that here as well, right? For example, in this case, unfortunately, it's just one review, but the reviews go say like, it's a small startup, great people, but lack of resources for, softwares or whatsoever it is, right? So this also, gives you a little sneak peek from the perspective of the current employees here. So we try to include, stuff like this as well while giving you more details about a particular job posting. So using this menu, you can go back to your search results. Just press B, go back to your search results. That's what you just got. You can keep looking at other jobs. Let's say I want to look into let's say another job here. Let's go by this. So again, you would find all the relevant details here, as I mentioned earlier. So you can just like keep going to get details for the job postings as well. So another thing to note here in the menu is that it gives you an option to calculate the livability score, which is nothing but considering what matters to you the most in that particular location, right? So how do you prioritize median income, maybe the average home value, the crime rate, and all those sort of values in that particular region, right? So you'll be able to calculate the livability score. So let's say let's say I want to calculate the livability score for job ID number 2, and it's going to ask you, right, what's your priority. So you have to rank density, median income, home value, and crime rate with ranking between 1 and 4. So let's just say population density is least important to me, so I'm going to enter 4. Median income within that particular location is let's say 2, Home value definitely is something that affects whether I'm going to move into that city or not. So that's like holds higher sort of precedence to me, and maybe it's the most important factor out of these four to me. So I'm just going to enter that. It's going to ask me whether I confirm this ranking or not. So let's say yes, and it's going to give me the livability score here, which is 27 out of 100. Higher the score, the better it is. But yeah, so you might see that the price here, housing might be one of those factors for this score to just go down, and so is the crime rate within that region, right? And when I change these rankings, right, so you see the effect on the score as well, right? So for example, um, for the same job, if I say like, okay, density is the most important factor to me, then um, median income is, let's say, least important to me. The home value is again 3. So if I do that, you see that the score now dropped from 27 to 20. So so that's how, like, based on your input, you would see a different livability score, and it takes into account what is most important and least important to you based on those like 4 different parameters. So as I mentioned earlier, like, you can always use B to go back to the search that you just did. If you want to just go forward and do a new search, you can go to the main menu by pressing M, and you can just like create the program by just using Q. So let's just go and search for some other job in some other region. So I'll go to the main menu, pressing M. Again, this time let us search for data engineer role. Well, this time maybe, let's say it's in Pittsburgh. So yeah, I mean, give it some time for it to finish scraping and cleaning the data. So we just like search for data engineer role in Pittsburgh. So here are the respective jobs. So another thing to sort of note here is when you enter a location, right? So it could be a city, it could be a state. It takes into account whatever you ended there, and now you see all these, good jobs in the Pittsburgh area. And you can again just like go through any job which might be of interest to you, and get the relevant information and all that sort of stuff. So that's all about this application for now. And if you want to just like go and quit, you can just press Q and the program would end. So this is it for the current demonstration. Thank you.